Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. David Ornstein has dropped another bomber about a Swedish striker, and this time it's not Alexander Isak, it is Viktor Gyokeres. Arsenal are really considering Viktor Gyokeres this summer, and it is being spearheaded by Andrea Bata, one of the best in the game, who was announced by Arsenal just yesterday as new sporting director. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. There is a meeting between Arsenal's representatives and the management of the player, and there is an agreement between Viktor Gyokeres and Sporting that he can move for around 70 million euros this summer. It all makes sense right now because the jump from Isak down to Hugo Ekitike or down to the likes of Benjamin Sesko just didn't make any sense. If you can't get Alexander Isak, why aren't you looking at the strikers in the middle? Why are you going for the low budget ones? And this is why I never believe those stories. I really think Sesko is on top of the list, but I also think that players like Gyokeres and players like Ornstein will be looked at this summer. So let's dive into the latest on the Viktor Gyokeres story as we get closer and closer to really getting the full formation of what our transfer window is gonna look like. So David Ornstein did confirm yesterday that Arsenal are developing strong interest in Viktor Gyokeres as a possible striker signing for the summer. Andrea Bata has firm interest and is a firm admirer of the 26-year-old Sporting forward and is expected to figure prominently among the AFC options for striker this summer. Plus also, he may be a more realistic target than Alexander Isak, as reported by The Athletic, as reported by the Ghana blog, and also as reported by David Ornstein. So there is your confirmation, guys. It looks like Arsenal are getting some sense finally. And this is why I always said Andrea Bata is going to change the way Arsenal look at transfers. Actually, if you watch my video, Welcome to Arsenal Andrea Bata, you will have noticed that I said Andrea Bata has a role to play when it comes to advising Mikel Arteta. Now, I want to remind you, just about 3 or 4 months ago, Arsenal were not really interested in signing Viktor Gyokeres, and the same Athletic, outlet with David Ornstein confirmed that Arsenal had reservations about Viktor Gyokeres. That was Edu and Mikel Arteta, and their reasons for not wanting Viktor Gyokeres were 2. Number 1, they thought that the player was playing in Portugal and therefore he wouldn't replicate the form in English Premier League football. Now, when you think about the strikers and the players that Andrea Bata has got from Portugal and they've gone on to do very well for Atletico Madrid, I think that was a very weak point, and he has just come in and said, that's bullshit. I've signed a few players from Portugal and they've done well. What are you even saying? And the second reason as to why Arsenal didn't want Viktor Gyokeres was that knee surgery that he actually had. And I also asked a question. I said, if you have signed Ricardo Calafiori with his trail of injuries, and his trail of injuries has continued at Arsenal, how dare you say that this guy who has suffered almost 1 injury in a very long time of around 3 seasons, you're worried about? If you can sign Ricardo Calafiori with 1 million injuries on his trail, you can't fool us that Viktor Gyokeres is a threat in terms of injuries. And Andrea Bata coming in, he's just told the Arsenal management, he's just told Mikel Arteta, wake up. This boy is the real deal, and if you don't get him, someone else is going to. And think about it, for 60, 70 million euros, how many good strikers, the level of Viktor Gyokeres, are you going to get? How many players are at that level for 60, 70 million euros? I mean, the likes of Harry Kane are costing hundreds of millions. The likes of Isak are going to cost 150 million euros. Viktor Gyokeres is the next best thing. Now, a meeting has been scheduled between the representatives of Arsenal and the representatives of the player. Now, this deal is not advanced. I don't want anyone to come here and be excited. We're getting Viktor Gyokeres, it's done, it's finalized. It is not yet done. So many other clubs, like we're going to talk about, are very much interested in Viktor Gyokeres. But the advantage Arsenal have here is we are being told that the agent of the player is a very good friend to Mikel Arteta. No wonder Mikel Arteta is a very key guy in terms of cracking deals at Arsenal. The guy has many friends. He has friends in Saudi Arabia. He has friends in Spain. He has friends at Real Sociedad, friends with Martin Odegaard, and now he's a friend with the agent of Viktor Gyokeres. So a meeting has been scheduled to try and sound out a move, because in terms of Sporting selling, it is as clear as day. According to Florian Plattenberg, there is an agreement between Sporting and the player that they'll let him go for about 70 million euros. Florian Plattenberg in German also says that there was a mutual feeling last summer that it would take around 100 million euros to even think about selling for Sporting. But this season, it's going to be different. This time it's going to be different. Clubs like Arsenal, clubs like Chelsea, Liverpool, if you're interested in the player, it's going to cost around 60 to 70 million euros. And that is where I think the interesting part actually comes in. This is going to be a heavily watched transfer. Now, talking about the meeting the Arsenal have scheduled, I think we're trying to do the same thing we've done with Nico Williams, we've done with Martin Zubimendi, and we've done with the likes of Gyokeres. Arsenal are trying to sign their players early. Arsenal are trying to get, a head start, to get ahead of the competition as we get into the summer. And this is not something bad at all. Think about this. Nico Williams is going to be wanted by a plethora of clubs. And so is Martin Zubimendi, and so is Gyokeres, and so are all of the players that Arsenal are interested in. So if you really want to go out there and be different and sign 4 of your top targets without these deals being sabotaged, you're going to go in early, you're going to move fast, and you're going to have to be very efficient and effective. So Arsenal once again deploying that tactic of going in early to negotiate with the player and lock down an agreement, and then later we can negotiate with Sporting, because for me 70 million euros, with the way Arsenal are really prepared to sign a striker, if we were willing to offer about 40 million pounds, that's around 50 million euros for Ollie Watkins in January, I really think that the powder has been kept dry, and we shall have more than 70 million euros to splash on the striker position. Now, that is a price that has reduced, obviously, and Arsenal have got to take advantage of this. This is why I like the idea of Andrea Bata. Apart from him coming in to advise these, Mikel Arteta's and the rest of the management, I think he's a guy that is really good at watching market opportunities and jumping on them like a lion and taking advantage. Think about it. The club has been looking at Šeško for 70 million euros. And then I've been asking the question, an easy one. Why? Why are we trying to sign Šeško for 80 million euros? What has he done to warranty or guarantee that his value goes up to 80 million euros? On the other side, for me, Viktor Gyokeres has done enough for us to actually say he can score a hat-trick against Manchester City. He can score 30 goals in a campaign, and he can register 50 goal contributions in a single campaign. Now, moving to the Premier League, things might be a little bit different, but I still think that for a reduced price, Arsenal are getting the real deal, and credit to Andrea Bata, this guy understands strikers. I was watching James B this morning on his channel, The Gyokeres 2, and he was asking a simple question that I really loved. He asked, can Atletico Madrid sign Viktor Gyokeres? And his answer and mine were, yes, they can. That is the kind of striker they actually really love. Think about Ramadel Falcao. Think about Diego Costa. Think about Julian Alvarez. Look at those striker profiles. And think about the likes of Kun Aguero. When you think about those striker prospects and profiles, are they in the same bracket as Šeško, or are they in the same bracket as Viktor Gyokeres? In my opinion, they're in the same bracket as Viktor Gyokeres. I think Viktor Gyokeres at 26 is a striker in his prime, and we know these days with strikers getting older and getting better. Lewandowski, Benzema, Harry Kane, Messi, Ronaldo, Higuain, and the others. I don't know what the trend is. I don't know what is informing the trend, but as strikers get older, they're becoming really, really better. Now, for me, why I think Viktor Gyokeres is such a very smart buy, It's because of what he's done. He's persistently and consistently performed at a good level, high level, scoring lots and lots of goals for for Sporting Lisbon. I thought he was an ATM player already. And this is a player that is doing away with injuries. I mean, just last summer, we were really concerned about his knee surgery. And we were thinking, is he going to come back and score as many goals, right, with his injuries and with his knee surgery? And he has really done well. Not injury prone, and that is very, very interesting for a player who is very explosive, very quick, and very aggressive, right? So I like him. I think he is what Arsenal need. A fox in the box, a guy whose head is about, I've not yet scored. I need another and another. I need to grab goals, right? That is what Arsenal are looking at. And later in this video, I will do a simple analysis of Hugo Ekitike, comparing him to Viktor Gyokeres. But for me, I think Gyokeres is what Arsenal need. A player that is hungry to change games, a player that is hungry to impact, and a player that wants to be high on the list of top scorers in his league. So, does this mean that the Alexander Isak deal is off? No. Alexander Isak is Arsenal's priority and Arsenal's number one. And Viktor Gyokeres is just among the options Arsenal are looking at this summer. Same as Šeško, same as Isak, same as all the others. And for me, if I was to compare them, just like I always do, I kind of feel like Isak is really, really high up there. I really like Isak, and if Arsenal get him, that's a perfect summer. I mean, you could splash 120 million, it's a perfect summer. But I think Gyokeres as a deal makes more sense. If you're going to sign him for 70 million euros, Martin Zubimendi for 70 million euros, that's 140. You've got a striker and a DM for the same amount of money and the same price that you'd spend on Alexander Isak alone. And I think Gyokeres, just for 70 million euros or less than that, would allow Arsenal to go out there and sign a winger and possibly sign an attacking midfielder. Now we're linked with Sevilla Naipan for 15 million. I like the deal, go and do it. But I also want someone who's a little bit mature, an adult that is ready to be put under pressure by Mikel Arteta to perform. Listen, Florian Wirtz is expensive. Can we get someone like Ryan Sharkey, someone in that number 10 role that can do the job for us, right? So let's compare him to the players that we have. In terms of finishing, no one compares to him. Not even Saka, not even Leandro Trossard. Those are the two best finishers at the club. And I want to say, I'm sorry Arsenal fans to hurt your egos, Viktor Gyokeres is miles clear of all our players in terms of what he can do, especially in front of goal. In terms of being clinical, 1v1s, he is the better guy. In terms of pace, Kai Havertz doesn't compare. In terms of pace, maybe Gabriel Jesus can compare. In terms of skill, I kind of feel like he's a one-trick pony. Gabriel Jesus, as a Brazilian, offers you more in terms of entertainment and in terms of skill as well. But Arsenal are not looking for skill. We are not short of skill. I mean, when you have Saka and you have the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and the likes of Odegaard, there is a lot of entertainment you're going to get from this team. What we are waiting for and what we want is goals. And he is goals. If I was to compare him to the players that we are linked with, I think Alexander Isak really comes close. But they have played together for Sweden. And in terms of scoring goals, Gyokeres is still ahead. I mean, he's got, I think he's the Mitrovic of Sweden. And Alexander Isak is this polished guy. He's so good at doing other things. He can play as a winger, very versatile, very quick, and he's full of entertainment. But when it comes to business, if it was a tournament, I would take Viktor Gyokeres over Alexander Isak. In a league, though, 38 games in, I'm taking Isak every day over Viktor Gyokeres. Comparing him to Šeško, I'm going to say Šeško is not a bad player, but I think he really needs to work harder, like 2 more years, to reach the level at which Viktor Gyokeres is. And the same goes for Hugo Ekitike. Now, with Hugo Ekitike, he's got an advantage. He's a Mikel Arteta striker, and Mikel Arteta strikers are versatile, quick, agile, and they do a lot of technical stuff that a player like Viktor Gyokeres probably doesn't do. With Jonathan David, they're both good finishers, but I think in terms of volume of goals, Viktor Gyokeres takes the day. I think the only two strikers that I would say are better than Viktor Gyokeres, they would be Lautaro Martinez and obviously Alexander Isak. So, is the deal done? No, obviously not. Do not get carried away. There's no deal done here. We are yet to meet the camp of the player once again. But last summer we were told about the conditions of the deal. And remember Fabrizio Romano when he said that Arsenal have asked about the conditions of the deal. Yes, we did do it, but that is the same mode in which we finished the Shesko deal as well. So Arsenal are planning already on going back and getting these deals done. But Andre Bata, kudos to him, is coming and told the board and told the management, you need goals. I'm going to go and do my magic, and we're not going to go past Viktor Gyokeres. Whether we get him or not remains to be seen, but it's a smart move, and I think it just allows the team a little bit of room to breathe as compared to the Alexander Isak deal that is going to cost hundreds of millions if it were to happen. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. More of the stories coming your way. We'll do a lot of analysis on Viktor Gyokeres, but I'm excited and I hope you guys are as well.